Thursday, August 14th, 3:54 p.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. I'm going to discuss a stock index, the Dow 30. It's one of the oldest stock indexes in the United States. If you're not aware, if you're not on my Patreon page, you're likely not aware. Yesterday, the United States made a new record history with its national debt. U.S. national debt yesterday broke above $37 trillion. Yep, record all-time high. That was yesterday. Today, it's higher. Yeah, it's 37 trillion and 37 trillion, 70 million plus. It's huge. Outstanding. Woohoo, we made it. That's a terrible thing. Yeah. And we're only paying the interest on the national debt. That's a terrible thing. We're also in the middle of the month almost. Well, tomorrow will be the middle of the month. A lot of financial institutions have people that make investments in those mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs, into mutual funds. They have withdrawals from their income, sometimes the first of the month, sometimes the middle of the month, sometimes the last day of the month. So that'd be a lot of new cash in the mutual funds to invest in the markets. Let's go look at the Dow 30. 5-year chart. Each candle's a week, and the current candle will be done tomorrow. And right off the bat, look at the top right. Yellow horizontal line. We are still below the highs of last year. Yep. Not all the stock indexes are like this. There are some stock sectors, too, that are outperforming. So we'll look at the 30 companies alphabetical order. This is the 30 companies here on the left, mixed with red and green. So not everything's looking great today. But for the candle, for the week, it is green, higher high, higher low than the prior week, which that is that candle. But again, multiple times we'd reject it, taking out the highs of last year. So we'll look at those individual companies to see, are any of them performing better than the Dow? Are any of them performing worse? Apple. Yep, it's performing worse. It's still below the highs of last year. It's underperforming the index because the index, I said the Dow, look here, the Dow is almost back to the highs of this year, but not Apple. Nope, Apple's underperforming. Not good. Amazon, also below the highs of last year. And look at that inside candle for the week. Way below the highs of this year. Underperforming. Sorry, Amgen. Apologize, but I said Amazon. So it's underperforming. Not good. Let's remove this. There we go. Amazon. Here's the high for the year. And or at least we're high above last year. Working its way back up to the highs of this year. Still underperforming for this year. That's Amazon. American Express. Yep. Below the highs of this year. Financials. Boeing. Below the highs of 2021. Also, this was the gap early in the year. Gap down, finally tested it, and rejected it. So again, we're still below the highs of all those years. Not good. Caterpillar made a recently new high for the year and then trending back down. There's a gap there. Salesforce, new low for the year. Terrible. So here's the high of last year. We never took that out and made a new low for this year. This is hurting the Dow. Cisco, new high for the year. Big rejection, tested it, broke it. And look at that deep back retracement. Chevron, yep, way below the highs of 2022. So a lot of these companies I'm showing you are underperforming for prior years. That's hurting the Dow. Disney, yep, look at Disney, way below the highs of 2021, 2022. And it's currently trending down. Here's the high of the year, trending down. Goldman Sachs, financials, all-time new high. The bank's doing good. Good for Wall Street. Home Depot, below the highs of last year, underperforming. Honeywell, below the highs of last year, trending down. So what this is showing me again that the index is better to be in than the individual stocks. Not necessarily this index, because my other videos show you the other sectors and other indexes. IBM, look at that. That was a high this year. Huge reach. Went up there. Consolidation, sell-off. Wow. Johnson & Johnson, new high for the year, below the prior highs. JP Morgan, another financial, made a new high a few weeks ago, up here in a consolidation phase. Again, the financial is doing good, mostly. Coca-Cola, wow. There's a high for the year, and it's been trending down. McDonald's, inside candle for the week. Again, there's a high for the year, right below it. And 3M, below the highs of 2021. Merck, wow. Here's a high this year, way below it, and way below the high 2024. Terrible. Microsoft, yep, hit that high, all-time new high a few weeks ago. Here we are, two inside candles right now. Retail Nike, way below the highs of 2021. Look at this, 2021, 2022, 2024. Wow, very disappointing. NVIDIA, all-time new high. Right there. Forming a dodgy candle at the high. Wow, if it closes like that tomorrow, dodgy candles mean they mean indecision, and the location, sometimes it means halfway point or reversal. That'd be suspicious if it closes like that. I'll be watching that tomorrow. And maybe the last 30 minutes of the day. Yeah, last 30 minutes of the day, I'll come back and look at that. Look at the options. Consider putting on options on here. Bearish calls. Maybe outright buy some puts. But I'm not going to show that on this video. No, that's only for my Patreon members. Procter Gamble. Here's the high of last year, way below it. But let's go back here again. The video. Do a Fibonacci. Take it from the low this year to the high this year. There we go. Wow. So if this sells off tomorrow, that's going to hurt the NASDAQ 100, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, tech indexes, the industry it's in, chips, S&P 500. Wow, this would have a big impact because it's heavily weighted. Makes sense. There was a consolidation, big impulse move up. Wow. Procter Gamble already saw that. Sherwin-Williams. Wow. Paint company. New high for the year. And way below the highs of last year. Travelers, another financial company. Big consolidation phase up here. Look at that. Maybe it's under accumulation. United Health. Well, coming off the lows down here. Way below the highs. Visa, another financial company. Distribution, markdown. Distribution, smart money selling, markdown. Yep. Somebody knows there's problems ahead. Who is carrying a balance on their credit card? Who is only paying the minimum on their credit card? The United States government? And what about the individuals? If you're listening. Yeah, I already showed you, mentioned U.S. debt. And we're only paying the interest rates. Visa, way below the highs. Terrible. Walmart, inside candle for the week, just shy of retesting the high. Disappointing. So again, most of them are underperforming the S&P 500. Most of them underperforming the Dow 30. Disappointing. Thank you as always. Spend a little bit of time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.